Oh, Jesus, Bellingham. Um, I'm just recording this as like a little VOD review, I guess. Um, while I have some time, because I'm gonna go out shopping soon. I've already watched I haven't watched all of this VOD. I watched a lot of these Venom games that happen around here. You fight a Slayer later, and I decided I didn't want to watch slops, so I stopped watching. But basically, I have a pretty good idea of the mistakes you make. I think a lot of the mistakes you make are pretty identifiable and pretty clear. Um, in this matchup especially, I think of the big problem is you're definitely not used to approaching in this game without crutching a little bit on Grave Reaper. Um, which I suppose makes sense because, like you said, this game's like pre. I think you mentioned before the reason you ended up picking up Test is because this game's like very fast, so having a character that slowed down the pace and kind of stuffed like silly approaches with Test 6P was really good. But I can tell that when you're getting counter zoned by a character that cares less about your zoning than you care about theirs, you get very uncomfortable and you don't really know what you're doing. I'm just going to play some of the games in the background here. You mentioned, I think in DMs, you mentioned the pressure of like the Venom you was playing against. And honestly, from watching this guy, I actually really like this guy's conversions. I think his pressure routes aren't that impressive. I think the problem is you let too much fake stuff happen at points that are a combo ender, and you press you get very antsy and press on things that just are true. So I don't know if it'll show up here, but in the earlier games, I watched you get hit by like Venom. I watched you like on block get hit by Venom 2K2D because you would just start pressing in the middle of Venom 2D or you would release block at least. But 2D is Venom 2D is multiple hits, so obviously you would just get hit, right? So those kinds of so this is the type of thing I'm talking about. This is like a bad decision. Don't do this against Venom. I think you're kind of autopiloting into, oh, I play Testament, so I must backdash, and you've both done this. Except one of you cares way more about this situation. So you do this, and then you Grave Reaper forward. But it doesn't matter because Venom's projectile, his like primary projectile, is obviously this one, which is way faster than yours. It generally interacts favorably. Um, like it usually is going to hit you. It's either going to hit you or it at least sets up a ball that Venom gets to do stuff with. He doesn't really care about this Grave Reaper. And he doesn't care if Grave Reaper covers this space because he's just going to keep doing it. He's just going to sit here and keep doing it. Like, that's all that's really happening. And, like, look, you've done it again. You've already Grave Reaper the second time. So you've Grave Reaper 3 times in a row and you've eaten, like, a shitload of damage for it, right? You eat, like, a ton of damage for it. I say a ton, not a ton, but there was no reason to do it because at the end of the day, the you know, it's not that that there's no reason for you to do it. Is really all it is, to be honest. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you Grave Reaper from here against the character that is full screen zoning you faster? And it's not like this is just now happening. This has been happening for the past 5 minutes worth of games. I know because I watched these games. And you're letting yourself get hit by this charge, this whole thing over and over and over. Um, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't piece together. You should be aggressing. And the thing about Test is Test actually has the tools with which to aggress, is what's really important. Like Test's pressure tools are good. Test has good pressure tools, right? Much like a lot of other characters, close slash is +1, so it's not quite as bad as like a Faust or Dizzy or Axel situation where like all you do with those characters is zone because their close slash is -1. Their most plus normal is -1, right? So they can't be plus in someone's face. It can never happen. Test also has access to 2H. 2H, amazing button, pulls in, resets your pressure, and is only -2. And that's not even considering like cancels, right? Lets you do stuff after Wild Assault, lets you do a lot, okay? Like very, very strong pressure tools, and you need to learn how to use those pressure tools because your mix isn't very good, is kind of it. Um anyway, so that's mostly the situation there. This is unfortunate. I see what you were going for here. You need to microdash here to make this work. Test has to do a microdash. So you do this. So you can make this work. You do this, this, that. They feel scared about going because they think you might teleport to Succubus, and then you microdash 5k. Unfortunately, you don't do that, and he presses out. Tightening up those pressure routes is really important. Multiple times in these games, you drop a conversion from 6H. You drop a 6H or like a well, you hit your conversion and then you try and do 5k 6H while you're still really close to them, and that doesn't work when you're like right on top of them in corner. Or at least if the gravity's high in and the scaling is high, it doesn't. You need to clean up those types of routing because it means that you're just whiffing 6H in their face otherwise. But I think you know that. I think you know you whiffed 6H a lot in your confirms. They weren't quite where you wanted them to be, basically, is mostly what it is. Um, there's Venom's pressure. Here it's like fine. This is good. I like that. Like there you go. Yeah, just whiffing a massive. Was that another attempt at 5k? You do 5k. You tried the 5k, but I think this 5k just whiffs. Does it just whiff? No, that hits. Or wait, does it? Or is that your Grave Reaper? What even hits here? Hold on, wait. No, because you did this. Yeah, you didn't have. Oh yeah, it's your Grave Reaper that hit. Your Grave Reaper did hit. Oh wait, no, it didn't because he's not stained. Yeah, no, you just it just drops because 5k. It's too low to 5k there. So yeah, that's just it. Yeah, you got owned. You have to double jump here. Is the answer? You double jump. You get got a lot by Dark Angel. I find. You should double jump over Dark Angel. If you double jump over Dark Angel, the only thing they can do is try and jump up air grab you. But if they do that, you can air tech it if you just grab at the same time. Don't do this like either that or super jump. Super jump works too. Either works. Um, just don't do this like half and half thing. I do like what you do here though. I do like this. Jumping is better there obviously than teching because teching will result in you getting hit over to the right. Goes without saying, Dark Angel really strong. Dark Angel's really good. It's meant to be. It's just a powerful set play tool. Venom kind of needs it. You're not allowed to block in the air. No, that's not what's happening. You can block in the air if you want. You just shouldn't. I mean, in that instance, you definitely just weren't holding. You just weren't blocking. Is probably what happened. I mean, let me see. I mean, there's no point blocking it in the air anyway. Lol. No point blocking the air anyway. Just jump over it. It should just always be a double jump situation. Should always be a double jump angle. Um. Anyway, yeah. You know, what I tended to find in these get also you start rounds with 6H way too often, but you very rarely get punished for it in these games, so I guess it's not even worth talking about. 6H is a fake. It's a bad habit. It's not a great round start, to be honest with you. It's slow, susceptible to getting counter poked, all these sorts of things. It's really fun though, so I get why you would do it. Anyway, so when you're talking about pressure sequences, I assume you're talking about this type of thing where they do this kind of. So it's like he used a ball to get his opportunity. He dashes in. He does this. A lot of Venoms are gonna cancel their button that they do into JD. JD's a multi-hitting overhead. So fact of the matter is, if you're gonna let JD happen, or if you're gonna get hit by any overhead, you want to block for a little longer. You want to block for a little longer to cover JD, and try and react to it as best as you can. Is kind of your goal. Um, Goes without saying, this here is the end of Venom's block string. This is your opportunity to take a turn, but you need to acknowledge how far away he is. This situation here, if I'm you as Testament, I'm probably looking at a like dash macro forward 2k, try to catch the backwalk. Is probably what I'm expecting. You do 2H. 2H, yeah, it works if he presses again, but like I say, that's the end of his turn. Most intelligent players will not press here because that's the end of their turn and they know it. So he walks back and he does this, and you kind of get got. Um, and now this is where it gets really hard. If you're in corner against Venom and he's actually got his ball set up, you're gonna start to struggle because stuff like this is gonna happen. Not much to do about that. You try and 6p, but you know, once the balls are set up, it kind of is what it is. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Why are we doing this? Start around. You're against another zoner, and we instantly jump back. He hasn't even jumped back. He sat there and charged. He sat there and held charge for his ball, and then shot the ball out. Um, I do actually like you leveraging teleport here as an option. You do this, throw it up, and then kind of weave your way around him. This would have worked if you used a button that hits like behind you. Like you could have pressed oh, what is it for Testament? I think is it JD? No, not JD. What's a cross up? Oh, it is JK. You want to press JK there as a cross up. Because that would have hit him on your way down if you JK'd. That's when you want to do that type of thing. I like the idea that you're going for here. Like, oh, be aggressive by teleporting in. This is correct. Your aggression just wasn't quite there. Um, you know, and this is kind of what I'm talking about now. Where we're kind of gonna, yeah, okay, we get the ball set up, Dark Angel's out. You do tech it, but it puts you back into it, so he just does it again. Lol. Um, so fun fact, you actually don't need to RC here. You can cancel the frames of your air dash by pressing faultless defense backwards. And it'll let you get past the rest of it, basically. It'll let you get past the rest of it. So this is kind of my problem with your gameplay in general. I don't blame you though, because this is something most people are bad at. You don't really know what to counter poke with when someone's turn is over, right? Because what happens here, you successfully block that, you block these lows, you block that. That is the end of Venom's turn, and he needs to either walk back or do some kind of reset. Doing a slow move like 2H there isn't gonna save you. That moves 21 startup. That moves 21 startup. It's really slow. It's not gonna help you. And sometimes I see you do some crazy shit like fucking 6H out of corner and stuff like this. 23 startup. It's not gonna work. And if it does work, it's on balance of averages. It's not gonna help you. It's is unfortunately the case of it. So this 2H obviously is gonna whiff. He's going to jump, and because you press 2H, you're in 10 trillion years of end lag, and you do, unfortunately, you're going to blow up here for this, is what's going to happen.
So fucking done.
And you're mad about it, too. You can't 2H that. What you should be doing, I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of guessing involved because you're in corner, and they have control of the situation. A much safer option there, if you're trying to get out of corner, is to back jump. Because if they end up jumping, you can air to air, or maybe you can air throw them back into corner, and now you have them in corner. If they stand still and don't do anything, you can try to you can try to air dash over them. Or alternatively, your Testament, you do have access to air Grave Reaper, obviously. You can do Grave Reaper down. You can try and push them out of corner with Grave Reaper down if you think they're going to try and walk back. Basically, it gives you an opportunity to kind of react to what's happening, and obviously you can always block in the air. Very few things in this game are air unblockable. Like very, very, very few things. It's like two moves maybe. So you know, uh, you're generally supposed to play corner with a lot of fuzzy jumping in this game. You kind of block in corner for a little bit, and then you jump back and upwards, and you react to what's happening. Yes, yes, immediately rewarded for aggression. Perfect. Yes, you're aggressive, and you immediately get rewarded because guess what? You're playing a zoner that wants to zone more than you do. I can tell you got pissed off by the last round. So you're like holding forward now, right? And notice how this guy mashes every single time on wake up because he's always trying to scrub throw you. It's been happening in multiple rounds before this. He keeps back throwing you when you would miss your meaty. When you hit your meaties, that doesn't work. So suddenly these scrubs who mash on wake up every time start imploding for it. They start dying in, like for trying to mash like that. Yes, and perfect, and an arbiter sign high as well to put the mix back together. There's your mix. You're finding your mix, right? Um, you know, it's coming together, and I like it. That's kind of what you want to be doing. That was awesome. That was sick. You can't arbiter. Yeah, you can't really arbiter sign there. You can try, but it's not very good. Calamity. No, they got hit by it. So that's funny. That's so funny that whiffed. Yeah, that's BRC drift shenanigans a little bit. Well, I say that I think that's just an arbiter sign. That's an arbiter sign dead zone. It doesn't work in corner like that, really. You have to be a little further out. But that's just a limit of arbiter sign. Anyway, it goes without saying, uh, Venom's zoning is actually good. I think people have been figuring this out a little bit over the last couple weeks. Venom zoning is actually good. It's effective. It's good at counter zoning too. And it can be really annoying to deal with. But that's kind of his strength. In exchange, his pressure and his sequences genuinely aren't very good, really. Unless he has like a bunch of balls. Like, yeah, you're kind of seeing it here now. Like, yeah, just ball, 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 ball. And this is the thing. You lose sight of what was working. You lose sight of the truth. We immediately backdash around start. Why? Be aggressive. It's Venom. He is zoning you. Look, and you try to Grave Reaper. What's that going to accomplish? You've watched it not accomplish anything multiple times, so why are we even trying it at this point? There's no point. He can zone you faster than you'll ever zone him, because your Grave Reaper doesn't go as far as his ball shot. So you should always be trying to get in over the Grave Reaper. Just take your space. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Take your space and leverage your larger normals, because your normals are objectively larger than Venom's. Your normals are larger, they're better, and your mix requires less setup and less like set play involved. Um, it's all good. It's all good options. That's so funny that counter hit. What do you mean that with punished? He does that. He does because you with punish 6H. That's funny. Yeah. You kind of start acknowledging it here that his turn ends after he does this that he's gonna do it. Blair. That little purple shot is the end of his pressure sequence, unless he has a bunch of balls up. Better Venoms will have trickier pressure sequences, but this is like the basic, like ender, for a lot of Venoms. So you sort of expect it to be like this. You got grabbed, unfortunately. I probably would have considered Calamity wanting there and then just instant bursting, but it doesn't really matter. But like, yeah, leveraging aggression is the type of thing you want to do against characters like this. There's not too much else for me to say really. I think that really covers most of my thoughts from when I was watching this, with this sense of like, oh, you're like not being aggressive against a character that beats your zoning, right? Okay, that was a tricky pressure sequence. This is a tricky pressure sequence when he pulls you back in with 6k and he repeats it. But like I say, there's no reason for you to ever be pressing here. What is it? You get hit by 2k. There's no reason for as soon as you get hit by this 2k, there's no reason for you to be pressing because it's not the end of your turn yet. Or sorry, it's not the end of his turn yet. It's the fact of it. It's not the end of his turn until you see like a special, like that, like one of those, and he can do like the charge shots as part of his turn anyway. Is kind of the thing. So you should never be pressing there to begin with. The thing about Venom is that a lot of what he does, unfortunately for him, is mids. He throws out a lot of mids, and his only real high-low mix is attached to his JD, like you saw there, like his carcass shot stuff. So, despite being a mix character, he can kind of struggle to mix you if you know his routes, is kind of his problem. Um, you know, he does not have much true mix, he just forces you to block loads of mids and get zoned. And this is the other thing as well. I guess this is the other thing worth mentioning before I end this video. In here it's a little different because you're on like 2 health. I think you really don't know how to get in on people like aggressively if it doesn't involve air dash in. Um, One thing you should be leveraging against Venom and similar characters is you should be good at like press the dash macro to dash forward, take your space, and then hold back faultless defense after you've taken a little bit of face. We call that dash blocking in this game. It's called dash blocking. Is when you dash forward, and then if then you hold back an FD, you stop all of your dash momentum, or you keep a little bit of your dash momentum, but you're now blocking. You're no longer in your run animation. You're now blocking. So you can, in exchange for a tiny bit of meat of a faultless defense, you cancel your run into blocking. Those types of things are really strong against a lot of the cast. They're really strong against. In fact, let me just pull up the cast. Really strong against all the zoners. It's strong against Testament, strong against Axel, strong against. I mean Venom, obviously. Strong against Asuka. Really strong against Bridget. Really strong against Faust. Really strong against Jacko. Strong against Zato and Happy Chaos. Really important against Happy Chaos. If you ever play against a Happy Chaos, you need to know how to dash block. It's really, really, really important. But you don't really know how to do that, and you don't really know how to leverage it. So you get caught in your air dash a lot, is what happens. All of your approaches either come from air dashing or teleporting in, which is fine. That's okay, but it's not great. It's not great, and you would really prefer to have safer, less committal ways of approaching people, basically. Because I can kind of tell you don't really know how to approach people if they're not approaching you, which is why you play Testament, which normally doesn't matter. Against a lot of the cast, it doesn't matter because you're playing Testament. But one day you're going to have to play against a Johnny or a good Happy Chaos or like a really good Venom or even an Axel, frankly. And maybe even Faust. Less so Faust than the others. I think you can pretty safely beat Faust with Testament zoning. Like those characters you're gonna play. Also less so Asuka, you can beat his. So more so like Happy Chaos, Venom, and like Johnny, like these characters, and Axel. You will need to dash block against those characters if you want to take your turn as Testament. Is the fact of it. You can't just zone in neutral. I do have an unfortunate truth, which is against the Slayer, you're about to get slopped on. But we're not going to talk about that. I don't want to talk about Slayer gameplay. This guy is. I just watched that rollback change from 3 to 5 back to 3. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, that's really my recommendations. Is what I would say. Those are my main recommendations. That's what I would say. Think about those things. This is a little bit of a longer video than I meant to. I realize this is like 22 minutes long. My fault. But yeah, that about brings